Welcome back to Spectrum Bay News 9. I'm Rick Elmhorst. It is time to go in depth this afternoon, and we're going in depth on an organization that helps people of many ages. It's called New Life Village, and joining me today is Mariah Hayden. She's the executive director of New Life Village. Mariah, thanks so much for joining us today. So, where is this New Life Village and what's it all about?
Thank you. New Life Village is located over in Palm River. We are off of 50th between Causeway and Crosstown, so sort of east of downtown and a little bit south of Ybor and west of Brandon. In that little area, it's called Palm River. And what we are, so we sit on 12 acres over there. And New Life Village it's a lot of things. So it's an intergenerational and intentional community. So it's a residential village. And the first piece is it's an intentional village. So everybody who lives there is there for a greater mission. The neighbors are there supporting each other for a greater cause. So all of our residents, we have 104 residents, all of our residents are there to support families that are raising children affected by foster care and trauma. You probably already know this, but Tampa leads the state with the amount of children in foster care. So we're in a foster care crisis. So we have all these different families that have removed children from foster care or are preventing children from going into foster care that live there. And then living right next to them as neighbors comes in the intergenerational piece. And so we have senior citizens living at the village, and they serve as surrogate grandparents, tutors, mentors, village elders. And so they help, fill in the gaps and help take care of these children and wrap around these children who've been through quite a lot.
It seems like there's really a need for a place like this. So how do you decide who gets to come live at New Life Village?
That's a great question. And there's actually a need for more reasons than one. So the first need is obviously the foster care crisis, but the second need is Tampa is in an affordable housing crisis as well. It's very difficult to find affordable housing for a lot of working class families, and affordable housing puts more children into foster care. So the two crises affect each other. So how do we decide? We have a waiting list. There's a lot of people who want to live with us. We only have right now 32 units to our mission. We are in a capital campaign. We're building more. So how do we decide? We get referrals. So all different directions people find out about us, and they come in and they say they're interested. We interview them. It's about a month-long vetting process. We want to be very careful about who lives there and what their intentions are, and making sure they're on mission. But the top priority is always, always, always children that are bringing, families that are bringing children to permanency. So children that are in foster care move around an average of 2 or 3 times a year. So if it's a family that is bringing children to permanency where they won't be moving around anymore, this will be home for them, and we get to start healing and have stability. They are our priority, and they would move up to the top of the list.
So let's say you've got a family that has taken in some foster kids. This is a place where they can move into. Now, is the idea, let's say the kids are 3 and 4 years old. Is the idea that they're going to live there till maybe the kids age out of the foster program?
Well, and a lot of people think it's easy to confuse it. We're actually looking for people to adopt children from foster care. So foster families can live there, but they have to have a commitment to adopt if a judge terminates parental rights. So we're looking for families that are going to bring children to permanency. Being in foster care is not a permanent status. It means you don't know where home is. You can move around a lot. So if a family meets that criteria, our sweet spot, who we really want moving in there, is people who will adopt older children out of foster care, because they're very hard. A lot of people don't want to adopt them. But to get to the answer to your question is, yes, they're welcome to stay there as long as the family is eligible, participating in the requirements and the mission. A lot of children do graduate high school and go off to college living at New Life Village. And that's our goal, is to make sure that they do go off to college once they've turned 18.
This sounds like such a fantastic thing for these kids who've gone through so much. I'd like you to tell me a story about maybe some kids who are in a great situation, and maybe they've got these like surrogate grandparents that live nearby, and they're really bringing a totally different growing up quality of life experience for these kids.
That's hard. We have a lot of those stories. We've been operational for about 8 years, but I'll tell you the story. I want to keep their names private, so we'll call them the Smith family. So the Smith family is actually two sisters. They're in their 20s, and they are taking care of six children. And the six children are all their biological siblings. So long story short, the six siblings, their parents died. And so the oldest sisters are taking care of their younger siblings to keep them out of foster care. And then there's one of the sisters has two children of their own. So it's a family of eight being raised by two 20-something-year-old sisters. So we call that a kinship placement, where we have a lot of those at New Life Village, where children are living with a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, and in this case, their older sisters. So because living at New Life Village, first of all, they have nice, safe, comfortable townhouses that are affordable. All of our rentals are like $500-600 below dollars below market rate, and that's an incentive we have for people helping foster care. So they can afford this nice housing. The next thing that these children get to experience is New Life Village isn't just a place to live, but we have a whole healing on site. We have a whole healing on site program. Where they get to play football and play sports, and all these different people come in and work with them for mentorship activities and sports activities and stuff like that. So these kids get their neighbors or grandparents to pick them up and take them to school and do all these activities with them. And it's a very enriched, supportive, healing environment for all these children.
So real quick, I imagine that you're always looking for help. How can people help you guys?
Well, we have volunteers, so we have a tutoring program. People can come in and tutor the children. We have different like campus painting, mulching opportunities. We of course always need donations because we're growing our program, we're building new buildings, and we're looking for partnerships. So if your organization offers something that can benefit these children, tutoring, art, pool lessons, things like that. It's like living at a YMCA for these children. We're looking for partnership opportunities within the county. Our biggest partner, our biggest funder is Hillsborough County. They're helping us grow quite a bit. And so we need that community support and those community partnerships.
All right, Mariah Hayden with New Life Village, thank you so much for joining us today on In Depth.
Thank you.